welcome to Active Citizens. The show is Active Citizens Parliament. My name is Sharon Enemchuku. Today we are going to be putting the spotlight on growing controversy that's stirring debate across Nigeria. So the African Democratic Congress has fired a salvo at the All Progressive Conference, accusing them of jumping the gun on President Bola Tinubu's re-election campaign. But what does this mean for the country's democratic process? Is it a case of overzealous party loyalists or a calculated move to shape the narrative? Joining me on this conversation are experts in the field and persons of analyst Mr. Maxwell Koma. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Very well. We're also joined by our another analyst, Mr. Tony. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
All right, welcome. As always, we're also joined by Mr. Oladimiji Oluwafemi. It's a pleasure to have you again, sir. Mr. Oladimiji, can you hear me? All right. We'll have to continue. I hope you hear me along the way. So we are going to be discussing on the accusation which ADC has made concerning the 2027 elections, and the accusation which ADC has made concerning the 2027 elections, and as a party has already started campaigning for the current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of the 2027 elections. There are so many reactions going on social media, which we'll be taking a look at. But for now, Mr. Tony, let me start with Mr. Tony. How do you see an election that hasn't started, something that is going to happen in the next 3 years? What do you make of that? Is that even constitutional?
INEC guidelines. It's illegal to start electioneering more than, I think, 150 days before the election day.
Yes,
so
150.
Whatever is going on is part of the orchestrated attempt to win the next election. They already started the campaign right after he was sworn in. I'm talking about Mr. President. And if you look at all his appointments, they are strategically placed to enable him curry favor and then get support across the geopolitical zones for the election. So the election started right after he was sworn in. All these defections and people moving from one party to the other, particularly APC, it's all part of the game. So nobody is surprised.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Tony. Back to you, Maxwell. What do you think? I mean, how does this reflect on APC's priorities? Do you think that, like some Nigerians have said on X, that they are more focused on the 2027 election and the rerun of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu rather than on more pressing issues in the country?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. You see, the problem I have with the current APC leadership led by the Tinubu administration is that they have this urgency to violate lay down laws in, be it the Constitution or other acts of National Assembly. Now, Section 94 of the Electoral Act has provided categorically that the timeline within which a political party shall, engage in campaign activities shall be 150 days. So for calculating from the day of the election when it has been fixed backwards, it must be 150 days. What we have today is a clear violation of this provision. In fact, some may argue that it is not the APC that is campaigning, but they are doing so through their support groups and through individuals who are party faithfuls, party members of the APC. In fact, we've had President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other APC stalwarts at different occasions canvassing for votes. They did that when the president visited the National Assembly. This is more worrying because of the current situation in Nigeria. We have inflation that is over 30%. The naira, as of today, is about 1,530 naira. Every filling station today, none is selling below at about 950 naira or 1,000 naira for a liter of fuel. Recently, students of the Nigerian Law School were kidnapped in Nigeria. The police came out and lied about the situation about that kidnap because they had to pay ransom for it. So if we have prevailing issues like this, and barely 2 years before the electioneering period, and violating laid down laws according to the Electoral Act and the 1999 Constitution, and we have APC already campaigning for the elections, it is an affront to the democracy that we claim to practice, and also an insult to Nigerians who do not even have anything to show as dividends of democracy or dividends of the governance of this APC leadership.
That's right. Thank you very much. That was a really view on the situation. But back to you, Mr. Tony. What ways do you think that the INEC can further enforce this law that they have made, or this law they are abiding by, the 150 days that have been given for campaigning? How do you think they should address the issue? Do you think they should address the issue?
I think they already have the means to do that. The Electoral Act also empowers them to enforce those rules and regulations. But you know, INEC, they are handicapped. They are not really geared up to their job. And as a result, this is what we get. No enforcement of the rules and regulations. Political parties are violating the rules. Individual politicians are doing the same. And people rig elections. And they know who are doing those rigging, but still nothing gets done. So, and that's the reason some people are saying to break down INEC into component parts so that they will be more effective in doing the work of democracy, or the work they are entitled, or they are by law provided to do. They are combat.
That's right, Mr. Tony.
They are combat by a lot of work that they are not capable of doing. So if they can break it down into parts, I think that will help.
Mr. Oladimeji, I wanted to ask, how do you think that this premature campaigning will affect the 2027 elections? But before you answer, I wanted us to take a look at some of the reactions that have been making its rounds on X, because a lot of people have come out to say, to just say their minds, basically. So I wanted us to take a look at that. But if you don't mind, you can just answer now. Let us answer that before taking a look at the comments.
All right. If I think that this early campaign, political campaigns would hamper 2027, well, I don't think it will in any negative way. What I think is this. I think that the government of the day opened the gate to early political campaigns because they had nothing to really get their hands on as the matter as governance is concerned. So here we are. One positive I can take away from it is this, that Nigerians are engaged in this process, this current process. More Nigerians are engaged, and it's almost going to be no business as usual. We used to have those days when politics used to be left to politicians only. But this time around, you have Nigerians very much involved and every day, pushing back with data against all of these wrong policies.
Yeah, which is what we encourage for citizens of Nigeria to push back. Let's take a look at some of the comments that were made on X. So this is coming from Obiora. He says Alex Oti of Abia is not bothered about re-elections or who the opposition is. He is busy fixing things for the betterment of the people and state. Meanwhile, the man who bought himself a yacht, Escalade, and private within 6 months of assuming office has already started sneezing and trying so much to convince people that he is doing something when there is actually nothing to show for it. A genuine leader allows his work to speak for him. At the end of it all, it boils down to results. Chef Continental says, if you are a serious country, will you invest in a country where the president is an asset of the CIA? Tinubu forfeited $460 million to the FBI, being a proceeds money from drug trafficking in the 90s. He won through election fraud as seen below. Okay. Anti-Agbado. Okay. Since 1999, no president has launched a second-term campaign 3 years before the next election. As far back as 2024, Tinubu's campaign banners were already up in Abuja. He didn't come to deliver good governance or fix Nigeria. He came solely for politics and personal gain. This one is coming from Felix. He says, what they're after is to retain power to move around with convoys and to travel the world. Blame their enablers, not them. Oh my goodness. These people are not here to smile. My analysts, you've seen everything that Nigerians are saying. But my question to you, Maxwell, okay, let's just treat this. How do you think Nigerians themselves should react to this? As a Nigerian citizen that you are, how do you think Nigerian citizens can approach this matter?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. On how Nigerians can approach this particular issue, even before I move to how Nigerians should approach it, let me make a comment on how INEC should approach this. Now, the same Section 94, which I made reference to of the Electoral Act, which was passed just recently in 2022, has provided for certain fines that must be paid. The problem we have is the current organizational setting where the chairman of INEC, which is supposed to be an independent body, is an appointment of the executive themselves. In this case, Bola Tinubu. So you wonder, how can he sanction the political party which, well, in quotes, puts him in office? So these are the issues, and that is why we need reforms that will change the pattern at which the chairman of INEC is being appointed. As for Nigerians, I expect Nigerians to hold this government accountable. In the last 2 years since Bola Tinubu took over office, there has been nothing but borrowing and more borrowing. As of today, we are owing close to, if I'm correct, about 90 trillion naira. So
99 trillion.
This is outrageous. 99 trillion naira. Never in the history of Nigeria would been plunged in. I think that Nigerians should start asking the right questions. I'm marveled at the reception that Nigerians are giving them. If you show these people that you don't care about their politics, but you are more interested in governance, of course, they won't insult our intelligence the way they are doing. Recently, in Maraba celebrities or influencers, we are brought out to campaign for the APC right in the marketplace in Maraba, and these people could not even chase them out of those places, although they have every right to be there. But their being there is a violation of the Electoral Act, which draws its authority from the 1999 Constitution. So Nigerians must reject this style of campaign, must reject this style of governance. This is undemocratic, and of course, it is creating more problems for Nigeria because every other government, it is setting a precedent. Every other government which comes into power will only be interested in campaigning, holding 2 terms, or even a 3rd term, saying with the kind of robust National Assembly we have today. So Nigerians must reject this, and they must do so vehemently.
That is so apt, Maxwell. But to you, Mr. Tony, do you agree with about the reform that we need to see, especially as it concerns INEC, to become a very independent body?
It's funny. INEC and most institutions in this country are not independent. The legislators are not independent. The judiciary is not independent. INEC is not independent. They are all a product of bad governance and corruption. How can Nigerians actually make things or change this pattern when the votes don't count? And the politicians know that the votes don't count. What they concentrate on is to rig elections. And when they rig that election, they don't care what the people are saying. Look at all the noise being made all over the place. Are they listening? I don't think so. They're just concentrating on planning to rig the next elections. And if Nigerians can stop the rigging, I think that's the only way politicians will listen to Nigerians. We have to stop the rigging. Whatever it's going to take.
Speaking about rigging, sir. Sorry to cut you short. I just wanted to ask a question before I come to Mr. Oladimiji. There have been some speculations and theory concerning the recent loans that the Nigerian government have been taking. Even Maxwell mentioned it, that currently Nigeria is owing 99 trillion naira. And just recently, to that amount, the president also borrowed the sum of $25.3 million. And another one that we are seeing that they are trying to seek, which is a 3 trillion naira, 3 trillion naira that he wants to invest in roads. People are saying that there is a possibility that all of these loans is as a result of the forthcoming elections. Do you agree to that, sir, or you have a different theory?
People can contemplate, and I don't blame them. This is the pattern, and we've observed over the years. Politicians, they stash money away. Constituency projects are being underfunded. They take the money, do just a little bit here and there, and then pocket the rest of it. For what? All for election. All for election. And when election time, they know that they're going to buy the election. That's why some people don't even care to vote anymore, because they know their votes don't count. So the thing Nigerians need to do is to find a way to stop the rigging. Right at the polling booths. Right at the polling booths. If they can't do that, there is no hope. Because these politicians, they are ready. They've stashed money since 2023, and they continue to do that. The road projects are highly inflated. They say they're borrowing a certain amount of money. Break it down for Nigerians to know what goes to what. You are budgeting 47 million in addition to 700 million for the Lagos-Calabar roadway. How it break it down? This project, the Commissioner for Works, or the Minister for Works rather, was saying that they have a request that 3 trillion you talked about is a request present to the president to do certain road projects. Now, it's just talk. In planning, what you do is you allocate resources to the project. This project will take this amount of money. It's going to take this amount of time. to finish, this is the result of what you will get. The budget, they make these budgets. Yeah. Sometimes they don't finish the budget. And nobody accounts balance of the money, where the money went to when the project is not finished. So this is what is going on all over both states and federal. It's the same thing.
And that's sad, sir. It's sad because this is our only home. We don't have anywhere else to run to. But I just wanted to encourage Nigerians on this note that our votes must count. It will count because when you take away hope from the people, there is nothing else to hold on to. And this is what active citizens is all about. Preferring solutions, especially at the polling booth. And you can become a reporter. You know, there are so many things that the active citizens has put in place to ensure that one way or the other we can stop rigging during elections. But this brings me to you, Mr. Oladimeji. You know, concerning the electoral reforms that people have been singing about, do you think that the electoral reforms would be enough? Or do we need a complete sweep of everybody in the INEC that works in INEC? You know, the chairman is going to be another chairman is going to come into office. Should we have just a new election for everybody in INEC?
Well, let us first establish that that body is completely compromised. If we have to go back to 2023 electoral cycle. Okay. Having said that, I have always been a proponent of electoral reforms over the years since after the elections in 2023, especially with, concentration on the INEC rules and regulation. But there are some cross-section of Nigerians who feel that we already have beautiful laws and we have good rules and regulation, except Maxwell, of course, is proposing that we look into all of these laws and check areas where politicians are allowed the lacuna, you know, to bring in their technicalities, all right? Outside these, I want to submit with the idea that Nigerians need to take it away or take it a notch ahead from where they stopped in 2023. They started the engagement in 2022. You know, they came out, appreciative number in 2023 to cast their franchise. But somehow along the line, INEC was able to shift the goalpost in the middle of the game. And of course, consequently, the 4 a.m. announcement by Yakub Mahmoud after that coalition in Abuja. So if Nigerians, what happened after that 4 a.m. was that Nigerians didn't go further, you know, in protecting their sovereignty, their franchise, and of course, holding their sovereignty, which is Nigeria. And this is going to be my advice, my admonition to Nigerians going forward to 2027. Let's take a step further that we stopped in 2023.
Exactly, sir. Well said, sir. Thank you very much. But let us touch a little on the forthcoming Anambra elections that is coming up in November 8th. So, from what I can see here, the parties in Anambra State have given their official candidates for the different parties that will be contesting for the gubernatorial elections come November 8th. And for the APC, we have Nicholas Ukachukwu. For APGA, we have Charles Soludo. For Labour Party, we have George Moalu. And then we have here in PDP, Jude Ezenwafo. This election that is forthcoming, sir, let me start with you, Maxwell. What are your expectations? What are you looking forward to see differently in the Anambra elections?
All right, thank you very much. There are a lot of expectations in the Anambra election. The Anambra election will set a precedence for what is going to happen in other off-cycle elections And going forward, there are certain things that are expected from INEC, which would be observing in the Anambra election. So, though the majority of the public will not be participating in the election, it is just the Anambra State people. However, this will be a litmus test to see whether INEC can live up to its expectations, because recall that after the 2023 general elections, we've had other elections, and INEC have consistently failed to deliver, especially in aspects that relates to the incorporation of technology into our electoral process, one which has cost Nigeria billions of naira. So for me, I'm expecting a free and fair election. I'm expecting that the Anambra State government, because recently they are giving orders here and they're preventing people from exercising their right, from freedom of expression, stopping people from, branding their cars, stopping people from taking advantage of billboards and the likes, which contravenes the Constitution and also the Electoral Act. So I expect all parties to play equally, to be fair in the election, and that INEC will live up to its expectations, be on time at the election venue, upload results, and also do a proper collation and announcement of results. Because, like I said, a lot of people are interested in what happens. We are the most populous Black nation, and we must set precedents for what will continue to happen in Nigeria going forward.
Oh, well said, Mr. Maxwell. Thank you very much. And I hope every Nigerian that is listening, especially Anambarians, are taking notes as it is. But this brings me to my next question, which is actually going to be the last for you, Mr. Tony. Before this, we heard about the 50 million naira campaign permit that was given for political parties to use for campaigning. And from the news that we saw, that are contending for the gubernatorial seat in Anambra State has kept to that rule. Now, what can you say about the expectations, like Maxwell has said, expecting free and fair election, and even in the campaign phase, we are already seeing a complete defy of rules. What do you think? What do you foresee will happen in the said election?
It's kind of funny. I have a different opinion from what Maxwell believes in. You never get a fair and free election under this system we have now in Nigeria. The Anambra State government imposing 50 million naira levy or fee
campaign
to use
permits.
Campaign permits, including billboards, using billboards, is unconstitutional as far as. This is a way they are already trying to rig the election on their own side, the ABGA government. They make it difficult for other parties to exercise their right, their fundamental right for freedom of speech and association, and thereby constrict the ability to campaign effectively. So they will own the airwaves because they're in government. They will own the media prints. This is not fair. It's already started. It's not going to be fair election. It will never. And I hope that active citizens, what they are planning to do in Anambra State, they go ahead and do it. And that will set an example of what election should be by making sure that at every polling booth, there are observers that will report exactly what is going on, like to a different server. Like it's going to be in form of IREF, okay? So that we see exactly what happens in this election.
What is going on?
But if you rely on INEC, they are going to find ways to mess this election up. Look at all the previous elections in Edo and the rest of them. It was all, every one of them was rigged. And we all know that. And how can people have hope that this one is going to be different? INEC has not made any effort to make sure that this election coming in November, it will be free. I don't see it. So we don't have hope.
No, but Mr. Tony, I still believe that there is some hope for Nigerians.
Unless we take that hope in our hands. You can't rely on INEC, on the federal government. We can't rely on the state government. Everybody wants to rig. All the politicians, they want to rig. And that's the norm now. It's rigging.
Yeah.
It's very pathetic.
Mr. Tony, thank you very much for your contribution. Because of time, I'll be asking one last question to Mr. Oladimeji so that we can wrap things up here. Mr. Oladimeji, do you buy into Mr. Tony's sentiment that the possibility of a free and fair election is non-existent?
No, I do not. I do not. The possibility of a free and fair election, I strongly believe, is dependent on the response of Nigerians to engage civically in the process. All right. When we do that in our numbers, you see, election is a function of the people. They need the people to write the script whichever way they want to manipulate. I'm speaking to the politicians now that we have in this country. You know, the absence of Nigerians during any election gives opportunity to politicians to manipulate their ways and maneuver the process. But when we engage, and we do so intentionally and with the sole purpose of seeing it through, I believe that we can change the trajectory of our political space.
Well, the thing was that in 23, Nigerians were fully engaged, unlike ever before.
Yeah, you can argue that, Mr. Tony, but you will need to dial back. Before then, Nigerians weren't engaged in politics in any way. We were completely isolated from politics. Yeah. So if you dial back, you will know that we are improving as a nation in our civic engagement as citizens.
No, I disagree.
All right.
I hear you, sir. I hear you. You know, we are all allowed to have our different opinions, but at the end of it all, I'm still pleading with not just our analysts, but every viewer that a better Nigeria is still possible. We are still hoping in the possibility of a Nigeria that we dream of. But thank you very, very much to all our analysts for joining me today. It has been a delight. Thank you so much, Mr. Oladimeji Oluwafemi, for joining. Thank you, Mr. Anthony Oji. And thank you, Maxwell Okoma. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, to our viewers, thank you again for sticking with us. This is Active Citizens, and the program has been Active Citizens Parliament. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles at Active Citizens, and personally at Sharon Edem Chuku. Till we come your way tomorrow morning, do have a good evening.